Well, I finally finished the special project I've been working on that I hinted at in the last video. This is a Confederate D-guard Bowie. I've kind of wanted to make one of these for a really long time, at least 10 years. I've thought on and off about making one. Finally got around to it. And I'll tell you, this was a difficult project. These big knives really take a lot of work. And this is the biggest knife I've ever made. The next closest one to this was the Bowie that I made for Skeledon a few years ago, which is probably also my fanciest knife. This one was actually more challenging just because it's so big and so much blade to polish, and the forged guard was kind of tricky to figure out too. But in the end it came out alright. So this has about a 15-inch blade. It's actually, I think, 15 3/8. It's a spear point blade. A lot of Bowies of the 19th century actually were spear points. I kind of based this on photographs of several originals that I looked at and kind of took different features and proportions from a few of them that I liked and kind of blended them together. And came out pretty good, I think, overall. The guard got away from me a little bit. It was pretty difficult to figure out the length of it as I was working. And actually, I forged it once, and it came out both way too thick and too long. When I tried bending it, it just made a huge, ugly bow. So I actually cut some off it and reforged it and got it pretty close. It was still a bit longer than it should have been. You see it kind of bends up a little here and bends out down there and has more of a curve there, which is fine actually, but I'd wanted it to be more square originally. But overshot the length just a bit, but it's still, it's still alright. It still looks like a Civil War era Confederate Bowie. Getting the slots lined up right, one for the, up there by the ricasso, and then the other one down on the butt end, that was a little challenging. Actually, I hadn't even really thought about it at first. It might even have put me off of the project if I'd thought about it too much. But when I got into it and I realized that was going to be an issue, I thought it was going to be real hard, but then coming to do it, it actually wasn't as bad as I thought, but it did take some finagling and tweaking and bending, but it got lined up and came out alright. And I etched it in ferric chloride to give it that kind of dark patina look, which that worked pretty good. So long, it's a little hard to fit it all on camera. And the sheath is pretty much a similar arrangement to the last Bowie sheath that I made, except it being spear pointed, with the frog with a belt loop, and that could come off, slides down, but it fits pretty snug. And a lot of times on the originals you would just it wouldn't have the frog on, you just stick it in the belt and you'd have some kind of a stud or something there to keep it from going through. And on this one it's deer antler. So there it is, finally made a D-guard. And this is also for sale. And if you're interested, send me an email at knifemaker84@gmail.com. I'm asking $350 for it for now, which sounds like a lot, but this will lead into a little mini rant here on the pricing of knives. These big knives are so much work to make. It's difficult to even figure out what a fair price is. My strategy as a knife maker, trying to make some money at it, is I have my kind of bread and butter knives of about a 4-inch blade that I can make them fairly quick. I can sell them fairly quickly. I get around 130, 140 bucks for them, like my Yakut knives, Pucos, stuff like that. I can make them, lately I do them 2 at a time usually, and I can get a couple of them done in a week, and that works out pretty good. And then aside from that, I'll occasionally do a special project, which is usually a big knife that's just something that I want to make, like the Saxes or a Bowie. And it takes so much more time to make one of these. I mean, I'll get a couple of my typical knives around 4-inch, 4-inch blade or so. I've got to, sell a couple of those to be able to afford to take the time to make one of these. And this knife at 350 bucks, I'm not making nearly as much money for my time into this than I am if I had just made, the time and materials that went into this, I could have made probably 6 Yakut knives and got, $700 probably. I mean, if I actually were to calculate material costs and an hourly wage and figure the price that way and charge the same based on this than I would for the smaller knives, this would be like $1,000 knife. But you can't really expect people to pay that. Just a bit of a rant, something that's sometimes a little bit frustrating as a knife maker. But so that's why big knives are so expensive. It is a hell of a lot of work to make one of these. And the most onerous thing is polishing the blade. That is so much area to polish. It took me like a week and a half grinding with a 60 grit polishing stone just to get the grinder marks out of it. And of course, I mean, that's not working 8 hours a day or anything. I'm still, this is basically just a sideline for me. But it was a lot of work, and I'm glad I did it, and I'm glad I'm done with it, and I'll be even gladder when I sold it. So if you're interested, hit me up, knifemaker84@gmail.com, or if you want to possibly discuss custom work, you can do that, or anything else you're interested in. So that's it. Thanks for watching.